We met Dennis Urrutia. He's a dog trainer and has a lot of experience and has been working with animals for a long time and prepares or trains dogs for different purposes. To clarify a little and talk a little about the different types of training, I meet Dennis. Let's start by talking about service dogs, which in our country can also be called assistance dogs.
Service dogs are to assist people who are in wheelchairs, to open the refrigerator, to pick up the keys, everything that is help, also for the blind, for the military, for a mental condition, in that case the dog, the service dog. That is helping them for a mental condition is to accompany that person and simply be company with a good control, a good obedience, but that's the job of that dog.
Each dog has a different training depending on the disability of the person that this animal is going to reach. Now that's a very specialized type of training, and the other one would be the dog that does assisted therapy.
This training isn't intense, but it's important that the dog at least has basic obedience, it has good control, that the dog walks, sits, binds, does basic commands, and that it can be controlled in hospitals, in the clinics where they visit the elderly or the children in the hospitals. Now, it is very important that the dog has a very special temperament. It cannot be aggressive. It has to be a dog that's completely docile and can be touched, hugged. You also have to teach the dog certain rules so that they don't get too close to wheelchairs. But the most important thing is that they are very sociable.
Now we have dogs trained by K-9. What are the characteristics of this type of training, and what is the purpose of training, say, a dog in K-9?
Okay, we already have the K-9. It's trained by the police to search for drugs. Many are trained also to bite as well, to attack, to follow a subject. A combination of the two, whether it's a German Shepherd or a Malinois, can do the work of searching for a suspect and stop him, bite him, until he is taken away by the police. Also, the dog will search for drugs. We also have cases of the same police dogs that work at the airports that are used to detect bombs, and some of them are specialized only in that. And it does not necessarily have to be a German Shepherd. It can be a Labrador, it can be a Spanish Spaniel, a Spanish Springer, but this dog is practically for bomb detection. We also have the military level. It's trained mainly to search for bombs, to protect the soldiers.
What kind of training do you do the most with the animals here in Miami?
What happens? Well, at 27 years old, I'm going on 28. I concentrate a lot on basic, intermediate obedience and military obedience. Who wants a basic on leash? I give him a basic on leash. The one who wants an intermediate is a little more advanced. It has commands such as sit, stay still, shorten, go to his bed without a leash also. And whoever wants the dog to do all the commands without a leash, which is a military police level, we also teach it to the clients, to the civilians. But also behavior, so the dog doesn't relieve itself inside the house, that it does not jump on the furniture, that it's not seen to insinuate people, that it does not open holes.
What do you think is the importance of having a dog with some kind of obedience? I mean, many times people have a dog or adopt a dog and do not hire someone or do not receive any kind of help to educate it, and I think it is important that the dog receives it.
I mean, it's important to teach the dog commands. The owners are going to make the dog respect them with those commands. More than it feels that it should lie down, that it should go to its bed, then the dog feels that what the owner is commanding it, and it sees it as a leader of the litter. If they don't give the dog obedience, the dog practically does whatever it wants, jumps, and it's not going to be that tomorrow 2, 3, 4 years will pass. The owner really scolds the dog, and it can happen that the dog confronts him and bites him because there was never any kind of control. So yes, it is a good investment to have a pet that is going to have 12, 13, 14, 15 years with you. I always recommend it to everyone.
Because it happens a lot that people, for example, need an emotional support dog that in theory does not need any type of training, but it is important to have it.
If you go into a restaurant, if you go into a business and the dog starts barking, it doesn't pay attention and it makes a scene, you may be told to leave the store with the dog, so it is advisable that the dog has even a basic obedience entering the store with the dog. You are also entering an airplane. You want to have control with the dog and not that the dog makes a scene every time. And they have to tell you that you have to get off the plane, you have to leave the restaurant for lack of a good basic obedience.
Do you recommend spaying or neutering the animals to start some kind of training, or it doesn't matter if they are spayed or neutered?
The dog, if he isn't neutered, will respond to your commands. At least my dog is not neutered and he does all the commands. But yes, according to the studies, which is already the veterinary part, they say it's good to neuter him, that it will extend the dog's life, it will prevent him from getting cancer. In some cases, I don't talk about that with the owner who has not neutered the dog, but if the dog has an aggressive temperament, sometimes it's worth to neuter it, which lowers the level of aggression a little bit. It would be good, but it's highly recommended in many veterinarians I have seen that I know in the 27 years doing this, they recommend that you neuter it so the dog is calmer and it's healthier for the dog.
Dennis, if the people who are watching us want to know a little more about your work, where they can find you, social networks, or a Miami phone number?
Yes, you can reach me here in Miami. My number is 305-777-237-7777. We also have a web page, which is www.k-9specialist.com. We also have Facebook as well. And we have the Instagram, which is K-9 Specialist Dennis Urrutia.